All right, Coach. So this time around, what's the answer for P.J. Washington down low?
Well, obviously, he was terrific up there, and he pretty much got to do whatever he wanted to do with it. And we are going to have to do a much better job there. We have to fight for our position, and we got to get more help. And we should have had that up there, and we didn't get it. So it's not. Again, it's just everybody doing their job, and that's what we got to get everyone doing.
How do you combat Kentucky's physicality?
Well, I think we're physical too, and I just think that it goes back to just really, you got a game plan, you got to execute it on both ends, and know that it's going to be a hard-fought game. Rebounding is a big part of it. We've got to do a job of not fouling. They do a great job of getting to the foul line, and we've got to work hard at doing that ourselves. But I expect both teams to play hard, and I think both teams are physical teams.
Did you think Kentucky was the more physical team in Lexington?
I do think they were more physical. There was no question about that, and so and I think our guys know that, and so we've just got to play harder than we played, and I think everyone knows that.
Coach, prior to playing Kentucky, since the Gonzaga game, you'd had like 2 close games, maybe Florida and Alabama here. You've been in a lot of close games since then. How much do you think that benefits you?
Well, I think it does. I mean, you expect that this time of year. You go back and look at your league play, and when you get down to the end, there's no easy games. I mean, I don't care if a team hasn't won a game in the league. You go into that building or wherever you play them, they have the ability to play, and teams keep getting better. And especially when you're in a league where there's terrific coaches and players that work hard, and so you really truly expect going down the stretch that you're going to be in some close games. And the fact of the matter is, those games we won by pretty good margins at the beginning of the year. We weren't expecting that, and some of that had to do with, we did have an experienced team coming back, and other people were still trying to find themselves. But right now, I think our guys know that every game we're going to be in, if both teams play up to their ability, are going to be like we came out of the other night.
Coach, since that Kentucky game, have you felt like your guys have done a better job on the defensive end and at rebounding as well?
Well, we've gotten better, and the other night I thought we did really a good job overall defensively. We really were able to keep ourselves in good rebounding position, where there's some games where we got too spread out to do that. So we've gotten better, but we've got to continue to get better.
How important is Hero to what they do?
Well, I think they're all important. I mean, you go back and look. I mean, he obviously shoots the ball and stretches your defense, but they've got guys that can score at every position from multiple levels. So again, he's important, but I think they're all important, just like I think our team is. I mean, we talk about your key guys, but everyone on your team is important.
How different a team are they without Reed Travis?
You know what? They've got depth. They've got other guys. Again, when you lose a player or you're down a player, someone steps up. We saw that firsthand at LSU, and so I think that's what you expect, regardless of who you play. They wouldn't be where they were because of or us, because we're a one-man team, and. But he does bring the physicality that they want, and that's what, again, I think that's probably why they recruited him and knew that he could come in and bring that part to their game.
How important is hitting outside shots against a defense as good as Kentucky?
Yeah, I mean, hitting shots is important. I mean, we all know, you go back and look, and when teams are shooting, it makes it all look good. But as long as you take good shots, and they're good shots, you give yourself a chance to rebound the ball, whether they're going in or not. I mean, we defended Ole Miss really well the other night. Early in the game, they made some shots from way out there, and you got to just pat them on the butt and say, hey, great shot, and we got to come back and try to guard you again. But shooting is a big part of this, but you want to make sure you get high percentage shots.
Is that the key? I mean, they made it so tough for Grant to get paint touches up there. I mean, is that the key to loosen them up? Is it that simple?
No, I think it's a lot more. I think that Grant can work harder for his space. I think guys have to know when the space is there. Kentucky's got length, and we know that, but I think it's just a matter of everybody doing their job, working hard, and you got to fight for your space on the court.
Rick, I'm not sure if you've seen the video of the guys dancing after the Ole Miss win, but I guess how important is it that they seem to be still having fun despite all the ups and downs of the last 2 weeks?
Well, it is, because it's been a long year in a lot of ways with the notoriety that these guys have worked to bring to the program, and you want them to enjoy it, and they did, and they came right back next day and got back to work, and you've got to enjoy it. I mean, that's what you do it for, and again, they've handled it pretty well. Like, we're sitting here at the end of the year having a nice season, but they know that we still got work to do.
What's been your message about the first game against Kentucky when you've talked about it this week, and what's that kind of message been? How much have you talked about it?
Again, honestly, it's about what we've got to do to get better. I mean, we go into this game no different than we really got ready for the Ole Miss game. I know you guys probably don't believe that, but just the truth. You know, we went through our same procedure that we go through. We'll go through it the same way with our prep today and what we do tonight, what we'll do tomorrow morning, and what we did yesterday. I mean, that's how we do it, and you know, we try to treat them all the same because we want them to feel that the next game in front of you is the most important game.
I know games will come down to execution sort of from both teams and who plays better that day, but with such kind of a veteran team there that you've got, do you hope their pride's a little wounded from that game in Lexington? Do you hope that it kind of sticks with them a little?
Honestly, guys, I don't think about that stuff. I don't. I just think about what we have to do. You know, we try to coach our team up. You know, you guys know how I feel about our staff, and they're going to do their job to help with all this. And we want the players to come out. And I think at the end of the game, I think players have to make plays. But I think that happens throughout the game. And I think the key is that we need everybody. But again, I'm not. I don't think about that. I really don't. I just think about what we have to do to be the best we can be tomorrow.
Leading Kentucky in this building 3 straight years, won 24 straight at home overall. Just what kind of edge do y'all feel just in this building with the atmosphere and the like?
Again, I don't know how. I mean, we're at home, but I don't think. I think they realize that you just being at home and that doesn't mean anything unless you come out and play hard and do your job. They've played enough games because they go on the road, and I think that when we go on the road, we think we can win in any building, and I think that they have a lot of respect for our opponents, that they know they're coming here thinking the same thing. So with that said, we've got to play basketball. We got to play good, solid basketball.
How much has Kyle meant to this program from setting a character standard?
Well, he's been terrific. I mean, you think about how far he's grown, and I like to see him get it back. You know, he's been he tested positive for the flu a couple of days before the Ole Miss game, and I just want to see him finish it strong, the way he can look back on it with to be proud about it, and he should, because he's had a lot to do with this, building the culture here as much as anybody, really.
Is he a guy early on in your tenure that you tried to get official visitors around to say, this is the kind of guy we want in our program?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, all you got to do, you don't have to say much. If you're around him, you look at him, I mean, he stands for everything that you'd want your son to stand for. And he doesn't even have to say anything. I mean, just it's the way he conducts his business, it's the way he handles himself, it's the way he treats people. And yeah, he's a guy that we all should be proud of.
Coach, health-wise, I mean, how is he, and is anybody else kind of coming down
just minor things that you have this kind of time of year with a couple of different guys, but
the flu hasn't spread?
No, they've done a good job. Chad, believe it or not, once that tested positive, he went over to the dorm, disinfected his room on the road, got him in different things. I mean, people don't realize how hard Chad and his staff do to take care of that stuff, because we try to keep it from spreading and just get him away from everybody and do everything we can to keep it under control.
In that game against Ole Miss, Lamonte started so hot in the second half, and there's been times in the past where he's put up a bunch of heat checks after stuff like that and kind of gotten out of himself. How big was it for him to kind of do that but stay within what y'all are doing?
And that's what we talked about. Obviously, every shot he took came within the offense, and he was in a position, because when you go back and watch those shots that he took, guys had good board coverage if it was missed, and the other thing, it made Brennan Tyree have to defend. I mean, he was involved in all that, where he was getting screened, and Lamonte did a good job just really staying within himself.
2 more. Is that the kind of response you really hope to see from him after such kind of an uncharacteristic mistake there to end the LSU game, for him to go out there? How big was it for him to go out and have a good game? Yeah, well, I think it's important. I mean, Lamonte's been with us a long time too, and they're going to continue to learn. They're still young, and just like coaches learn something every day, I think players have to do the same thing. And but I go back, when he is really locked in defensively, that's when he's really playing his best basketball.
Is Kentucky the best defensive team you've played this year?
It depends on how you want to look at defense, I think. I mean, they're a terrific defensive team, but we've played a lot of good teams that really defend, and I think our league on a whole is a really good defensive league, and because it goes back, there's some really good coaches in the league, and I don't think we played against a team that I would say is a poor defensive team. Everybody plays a little bit different styles here or there, but I mean, Kentucky's certainly an outstanding defensive team.
Coach, do you worry about your sports information director, all these national awards going to his head? I think he still brings it.
Well, he went over last week and talked to Coach Former and said, instead of having a coaches show, can we have the Tom Satkowiak show? And he wanted to change his name from Satkowiak to Kowiak. So you guys tell me. Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.